The air held the crisp promise of a new spring, a scent of damp earth and awakening life. Elias knelt, his calloused fingers sifting through the dark, loamy soil of his field. It was good soil, rich and yielding, ready to embrace the tiny seeds he held cupped in his palm. Each one represented not just a potential crop, but a season of hope, a testament to the cycle of life and the unwavering rhythm of the earth. With practiced grace, he dropped the seeds, one by one, into the small furrows he had meticulously prepared, covering them gently as if tucking them into bed for a long, quiet sleep. The sun, still low in the sky, cast long shadows, painting the field in hues of gold and amber. This was the easy part, the planting. The real work, the true test, was yet to come. Days turned into a week, then two. Elias walked his fields daily, his eyes scanning the surface of the soil with an almost paternal gaze. He listened to the weather forecasts, felt the wind on his face, noted the shift in the clouds. The planting had gone well, but then the rains, so eagerly awaited, became a hesitant trickle, then an absent whisper. The topsoil, once dark and moist, began to lighten, to crack in places, hinting at a thirst beneath. Neighbors, some newer to the land, began to fret, casting worried glances at their own unsprouted rows. Whispers of a dry spell, of failed crops, began to circulate through the small farming community. Elias heard them, of course, but his steady routine remained unbroken. He checked the irrigation channels, ensuring they were clear, cleaned debris, and continued to feel the soil, hoping for that deep, penetrating moisture that seemed so elusive. He knew that nature, like life, had its own timetable, often independent of human desires. Another week passed, still nothing. The fields lay bare, an expanse of muted brown, seemingly undisturbed. Doubt, a subtle weed, tried to root itself in Elias's mind. Had he planted too early? Had the seeds been good? Had the conditions truly been right? He saw other fields, those planted with different crops or earlier, showing the faintest hint of green, a whisper of growth. But his own, so carefully tended, remained silent. Yet he continued his rounds, walking the rows, removing the occasional stray weed that dared to sprout, protecting the unseen life beneath. His hands, rough from years of toil, were a constant reminder of the physical commitment, but it was his heart that held the true investment, an investment in patience, in trust. Then, one morning, after a gentle, soaking rain had finally arrived during the night, he saw it. A tiny, almost imperceptible green speck, pushing its way through a crack in the soil. He knelt, his breath catching in his throat. It was small, fragile, but undeniably there. A few steps further, another, and another. Soon, a scattering of emerald pinpricks dotted the brown expanse. Elias didn't shout or leap for joy. Instead, a quiet, profound sense of gratitude washed over him. It wasn't triumph over the elements, but a confirmation of the inherent life force, a quiet affirmation that the waiting, the tending, the trust had not been in vain. From that point on, the field transformed with remarkable speed. The sprouts grew into sturdy young plants, reaching for the sun. There were still challenges, of course, a brief infestation of pests that required diligent, natural remedies, a sudden heat wave that demanded extra attention to irrigation. But Elias met each obstacle with the same quiet determination, never losing sight of the potential within each plant. He cultivated, he weeded, he nurtured, his actions a steady rhythm of faithful care. He understood that the harvest wasn't a sudden gift, but the culmination of consistent effort and an unwavering belief in the process. And then, as summer ripened into autumn, the field stood tall and vibrant, heavy with the promise of a rich harvest. Golden stalks swayed gently in the breeze, laden with the precious fruit of months of patient waiting. The abundance was clear for all to see. Elias walked through his field, the rustle of the ripe crop a symphony in his ears, the scent of the harvest a fragrant reward. It was more than just a successful yield. It was a testament to the wisdom of waiting, the power of perseverance, and the deep, abiding trust in a timing far grander than his own. This story of Elias and his field, though simple, holds a profound truth for each of us, a truth beautifully echoed in the book of James. In James 5, verses 7 and 8, we are encouraged, "Be patient, therefore, brothers, until the coming of the Lord. See how the farmer waits for the precious fruit of the earth, being patient about it until it receives the early and the late rains. You also be patient. Establish your hearts, for the coming of the Lord is at hand." Like Elias, we plant seeds in our lives, seeds of faith, of effort, of prayer, of dreams. And often we face seasons of waiting. The early rains of initial enthusiasm might pass, and the late rains of breakthrough seem delayed. We might look around and see others' fields, their lives, their journeys, seemingly flourishing, while ours remains bare. It's in these moments that impatience can take root, that doubt can whisper its unsettling questions. But just as the farmer faithfully cares for his field, even when nothing is visible on the surface, so too are we called to cultivate our inner landscape. We nurture our faith, continue in prayer, remain steadfast in our purpose, even when the sprouts of progress are slow to emerge. We trust that God, the ultimate gardener, knows the perfect timing for the early and late rains in our lives. He knows when to bring forth the sunshine for growth and when to send the gentle showers for nourishment. Our task is not to manipulate the season, but to remain faithful within it, to establish our hearts in His unwavering timing and perfect plan. The precious fruit of the earth that the farmer waits for is not just physical sustenance. It represents the abundant blessings God promises, the fulfillment of His purposes in our lives. This fruit comes not because of our hurried efforts or our anxious demands, but because we have patiently endured, faithfully tended, and truly believed that in due season He brings forth the harvest. So, as you navigate your own seasons of waiting, remember Elias and his field. Remember the quiet trust, the consistent care, and the deep understanding that some of the most precious growth happens unseen, beneath the surface, according to a divine timetable. Allow that truth to settle in your heart, gently reminding you that God's timing is always perfect, and His abundant harvest in His season is always worth the patient wait. What seeds are you waiting to sprout in your life? How has a season of waiting taught you about patience? We'd love to hear your reflections in the comments below. If this message resonated with you, please consider sharing it or subscribing for more stories of faith and encouragement. Until next time, may you find peace in the patient waiting and joy in the coming harvest.